So let's talk a little bit about this USA team game last night against the Puerto Rico national team. You had the USA team coming out with a 117-74 win. The first thing I wanted to ask you, because I thought this was interesting against the select team, right? They had a different kind of lineup going. Then it seems like they brought out the real starting lineup for this for these actual friendly matchups. Because at first I believe Ant Edwards was not even in the starting lineup of that original starting lineup that came out across Twitter. So I checked last night, I watched the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, so now they got Ant started. Because Ant, in my opinion, I know you're a Timberwolves guy, man. Ant's the best player on this team, right? Like,
Agreed. Yeah,
there's
100%.
no way this guy's coming off the goddamn bench for
Right.
the USA team of this caliber. But what would be your ideal starting lineup? Are you okay with the starting lineup that Steve Kerr is throwing out there, or what would you do there?
Okay, so last night he had Jalen Brunson, Ant, Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., and the fourth one was who? Mikal
Mikal.
Bridges? It
Yeah, it was
was?
Mikal
Okay.
Bridges.
So honestly, I like that. Outside, I mean, Ingram's the only one that kind of underperformed, in my opinion. I mean, it was one
Yeah.
game, so I don't really care. But
Yeah.
Ingram's talent-wise, I mean, fits right in. But I'd rather go Paolo, honestly, size-wise and
Interesting.
just fit. I think him and Jaren Jackson Jr. are both really made for international play, especially Jaren. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a bit quicker and just, I mean, a way better shooter at this point in time.
Yeah.
But Paul is an excellent passer and just the size and the girth the team needs. So
Yeah.
that's probably where I would lean. Brandon Ingram, I think it's going to work, but I don't know. We'll know in the next couple games for sure.
Yeah.
But
We need more
I'd
trial
say
runs.
gun to the head, I'll go Paulo. I just think Brandon Ingram is one of those dudes that he could either be okay in this or he's going to be really bad. And I'm leaning towards he's not going to be great. I just think he's going to rely too much on the mid range. He's not that
Yeah.
great of a passer.
Yeah.
And Paulo, I think, is going to be the most important big outside of Jaren. I mean, competition's not strong at all. Like, that's where this team really sucks. I mean, you got Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, and Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
And Bobby didn't look good last night. Kessler looked decent. I think Kessler could do something. It's just, I think Paulo fits the mold. I think if he hits some shots, if he can run the rim like they need him to, I think it's a great fit.
Yeah, I actually I like that suggestion because that's actually what I was looking at first, and I kind of teetered between Bi and Paulo, and I can reason with myself why you would start Bi just because Paulo is coming off a rookie season, right? Like, but when you look at fit and just like you said, size in international play, I feel like that's kind of important, especially once you start playing some of the better teams in international play. And I think Paulo can bring that versus Bi. And Bi is just a guy that kind of needs the ball in his hands a little bit more than Paulo too. I think that's kind of
Yeah, a lot of
the
usage.
issue there as well. What do you think, Matt? Because like something that came to my mind was Tyrese Halliburton, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the international play, and I love the free flow play of Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know why I kind of cling to him over Jalen Brunson in this case with this lineup. But how do you feel about that? Like, do you think Jalen Brunson is that right guy to like lead the unit? Because I know it's not just talent, skill, it's leadership perspective
Yeah.
as well. It's what Jalen Brunson brings to a team.
So I agree with both points you said there. I mean, free flowing, that's where Tyrese could probably overtake him as a
Yeah.
fit. I mean, Jalen would have to shoot really poorly, or just the offense would have to look out of sorts. I mean,
Yeah.
Jalen's just used to being more of a dog in that New York lineup, and it's not that free flowing of an offense. And like last night, you just saw it. I mean, it didn't look great, and it's going to take some time. Well, that's any time you put young guys in a situation like this that haven't had this type of opportunity and this much talent to play around.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson was the offense last night. It was literally him and Jaren Jackson
Yeah.
Jr. That was the
Yeah.
whole team to start the first 2-3 quarters. And I mean, I wasn't worried at all, really, but I mean, I expected a slow start, and this Puerto Rican team, I'm sure it's played together a lot longer.
Yeah.
They know international play a lot better, but USA like prevailed and dominated like I'd
Yeah.
expect in the end.
Yeah.
Um, it was interesting how well of defense Puerto Rico played, even when
Yeah.
USA was attacking the rim and getting it closer to the paint. That's for sure. The speed wise, that it just looked like USA was probably hesitant in that regards,
Yeah.
and so Puerto Rico was getting out in the passing lanes and really active there. But that's who they are too
Yeah.
overall. But
It's their
you
game
would think our skill set, there's enough skilled players on this team
to counteract
that
that.
to counteract that. But no, I think Jalen's gonna have that role because of leadership. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's gonna hit a lot of big shots, but maybe Tyrese could come in for Brandon Ingram too. I mean,
Yeah.
Tyrese can
Open it
rebound
up.
and pass way better than him. I'm not gonna say rebound, but I think he can rebound almost as good. Like Jalen Brunson, what do you have? Like 11 boards last night. Tyrese can do that with the minutes
Yeah.
and the opportunity.
Yeah.
But one thing that was interesting is, I mean, Jared Jackson Jr., the first couple plays just looked like he got so much stronger and his positioning was so much better, even though
Yeah.
competition wasn't that great towards the rim. But I mean, his interior post play looked awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, that was fun to see.
He's a guy that can feast in this international play, and I think you kind of hinted at that earlier in what you were saying, because his athleticism, his length, right, the shot blocking, but then you add in the offensive presence, and there's just not a ton of guys like his length and his girth that can move and do the things that he does. So, as long as the thing with him has always been kind of the patience factor, right, like knowing his spots and not rushing into the things that he's doing. And we still saw him with the 3 fouls in very early time. He still needs to get
Right.
that together, but yeah, I liked what I saw from Jaren Jackson Jr. And Edwards, man, what did you see from him? What did you like there? And do you think when you look at this team, because Ant Edwards is a guy that sticks out to me as the guy that would be the go-to type of
Yeah.
player for this team. Looks like from last night's game, right? Everything's a little bit more evened out as far as scoring output, but against the better competition, I expect that to change a little bit at least. Is Ant Edwards that guy that you think could be that go-to player for this? Is he the go-to player for this team?
Yeah, I look at him as like the Kobe, LeBron role. I mean, maybe even Donovan Mitchell when he had his good moments in the past, USA. But like Mikal Bridges could be the Carmelo Anthony role. Like that's what
Yeah,
I could see. I mean,
yeah,
I could see
I
him
like
getting
that.
a lot of buckets the way Melo did, and
Cam
having this
Johnson, man. Cam Johnson was lighting it up last night a little bit too, man. His shot is just so pure.
right. And I mean, even Austin Reeves, I want to give him a shout out too. He just
Yeah,
came in ready and just he looked natural.
he's just a
Austin
player, man. He's a
Austin and
hooper.
Cam both look natural for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, but other than that, I mean, I loved Ant Edwards' off ball movement. I will say that. I think he played some of the best defense.
yeah.
That sequence where, I mean, he blocked it on one end, came down, led the fast break, and then a behind the back pass was unreal.
Mhm.
Um, that was
That's what
Ant
you
at
want to
his
see from him, man.
right. Oh, that's Ant at his
Yeah, the
finest. I think
playmaking.
this is the last guy I gave a huge leap to was Mitchell. I think in the Team USA ball, um, I would love to see that Ant. It could accelerate him into superstardom,
Yeah,
and a top 7 player ish.
yeah.
I really believe that this could happen there.
Yeah, I think with a showing in international play where everybody's eyes are on you, right? There's not a ton of nationally televised Timberwolves games where you get to see Ant Edwards go off. So like in this international play, this is his time to like really shine, right? And set it up for next season. So I like everything you said there. Last thing I wanted to ask you about, there's been a lot of talk about Trey Young and kind of him not being involved shouldn't say kind of. He was not selected for this USA team. That's the simple truth. That's what happened.
He got robbed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Do you think that makes sense? Is there a player that you put Trae Young on this team over? I did see some reports. I can't remember what the guy's name was. I don't know if he was involved in selecting the USA team, but basically let out some insights that Trae Young overall wasn't accepted into the team because of his size. Like that was the main reason. International play, they want bigger guards, and they couldn't afford to have Trae Young in there with his lack of size. I think that's just a cop out, but what are your thoughts there on Trae Young? Should he be on this team, man?
He should absolutely be on this team, but I mean that's one of the only fair reasons. But like, he's always overcome the size issue, and I mean, look at Tony Parker in international play. Look at JJ Barea. I mean, look at
yeah,
plenty of small guards have been great. Like Matthew Dellavedova looking like God out there at times, and yeah, same size. Patty Mills.
Patty Mills. That's
Patty
another
Mills.
one for Australia. Yeah,
right. And so no, I won't buy that. And we'll get into the rankings here. I'm not going to say where I have him, but
yeah.
Trae Young's becoming wildly underrated. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you there. And maybe that's a great segue into our next segment, which